these.
All right, sending data. There we go. See, live on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. I just put polo hats, little dad hats, right behind Echo Dash and right behind Dre's name
Hilarious.
to
Love it.
drive the point home.
Right. I love it.
Give it a second, let the stream warm up.
Mm-hmm.
So, you were over there compiling that god tier list.
Oh.
Let's see if I know what I'm even trying to accomplish here. Because this was the thing, I had so many problems with my list. I have 4 different games listed as my number one picks, and obviously that's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna work.
No.
And let me look through and see, because now we're just about to load down their list so we can get a good little head start.
Right.
uh,
Select, remove.
I could picture.
Do you pick it off the watch list?
I could picture. All right, hear me out. Hollow Knight Silk Song, right?
I'm listening.
It's been delayed for about what 2 or 3 years now. I say
Uh-huh.
we just go ahead and give it to Shadow Art Entertainment
That's hilarious.
because if you think about it, if it hits, if it comes out this year,
Mm-hmm.
we're
Oh,
kind
that's
of
again.
setting
That's
him up
a
for success. So we can't. It's not like
95.
a full asshole move.
No, correct.
But if
It's
it
just
doesn't,
if it doesn't, washed.
right, that's a drop for him, right? So,
Correct.
so that's I'd say that's a fair first pick. And then as far as giving something to Dre, uh, what do I want to give up off my list? Because I don't have a list of bad games. I mean, all
No, of
the
course
entire
not.
time,
Of course not.
Uh, I say I say we could give Dre Mafia the Old Country, which is the new one they just announced at the Game Awards.
I saw that. I
Because I
saw
could
that.
see that being an even 80, maybe
Could be.
if it's
Could
good.
be. If it's good.
Especially if it releases in the same year as GTA 6. I mean,
Yeah.
it's set in early 1900s Italy, so I don't see it being like the same subject matter. But I mean, it's got to be the same
Correct.
gameplay, right?
It gotta be. That's what you would think, at least.
So I think we can give that to him because even if it's bad, I couldn't see it dropping below like a 72 to 75. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Except unless it's like Mafia 2. That's okay though. Don't worry about
Right. Right. So it's doable,
it.
but I guess we'll go ahead. We'll see. We'll see. I feel like I'm a fair and just ruler because even
Sounds
though they
pretty fair to
capped on
me.
me, I'm giving them good picks.
Right.
Sound
So
good?
you're not giving them punters,
Right.
but in the first round, they might come back and be like, "What? Why'd you give me this?" Like,
Right.
look, man, you wasn't here. I don't know
Right.
what to tell you.
You got to show up.
Yeah. You want the hotness, you gotta show up.
Yeah. Ain't no handouts.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
Man,
I'm
this one
ready
is
when you're
so
ready.
risky. This is so risky, bro. I mean, I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Yeah, it is risky, isn't it?
The risk
Kind of
factor,
jittery. This is how the owners
uh,
feel when they draft real players, except they actually got money on
bro.
the line.
Right, real hard money
All
on the
right.
line.
Big bank.
Facts. Sheesh.
All right. So we got 5 viewers on TikTok, one on YouTube. Twitch is stagnant. All right. So no better time to start than now.
Correct. Oh, this one right here. Move that up. Move that up.
All right. What's up, everybody? I'm Watch Banks. I'll be your host for tonight's first annual 2025 video game draft. Welcome in. If this is your first time hearing anything about this, I'll go ahead and break down the rules here in a second. But basically today it'll be me and one other co-host. It was supposed to be 4 of us tonight, but they got replaced with these hats somehow. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Watch Banks. Obviously, you probably know that because you're on the channel. And the other person here with me is Gaming with Flash. He's another content creator. If you want to go ahead and plug your channels, you can do so now.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, I am Gaming with Flash, and most platforms it is. I have to put an X in there, so it's Gaming with Flash. As you catch me on Twitch, it is at Gaming with Flash X. Twitch.tv/ whatever. You know how the thing works, right? That same thing over there on YouTube. It's at Gaming with Flash X, and on the Twitter, that people that still use that, at GW Flash X, because Twitter likes to be difficult with name link. It's okay though. We ain't gonna talk about it.
All right, thank you. So for the rules, today we're going to be drafting 5 games apiece, and we're drafting these games based off how well we think they'll be critically received and how well they'll score on OpenCritic.com. For any point that the game receives above a 70 on OpenCritic, we'll receive a point. So for instance, if the game gets a 74, for that game you get 4 points. If the game gets an 85, for that game you get 15 points. And if it goes anywhere over 90 on OpenCritic, those points are worth double. So if your game gets a 92, you get 24 points for that total game. Today we're drafting 5 games. Over the rest of the year, we'll have 5 additional slots that we can bid on to pick up. So if something gets announced, we'll be able to pick it up later on. Same point scale applies. And if a game gets canceled or we see more of it and we think it's just going to be 2, then we're allowed to have 2 drops total, 1 additional drop for a delayed game that gets delayed out of the year. Now, one of the other content creators that was supposed to be here was going first, but he's not here. So what we're going to do is we've decided as a council to go ahead and give him a middle tier game instead of doing him dirty, right?
Right.
So we're gonna go forward and give, what did we decide to give? Shadow Art Entertainment.
I believe it was. I don't remember because the ADHD is strong over here.
Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong.
That's correct. Hollow Knight.
We figured this would be the best punishment. I mean, consolation prize, due to the fact that this game has been delayed for about 3 years in a row now. And if it ever does come out, I mean, it's already got a cult following, so it will hit. And if it doesn't come out, then that's a 0. So let's go ahead and see, how do we do this?
It's also a risky game to like maybe use a counter pick on, right? Because if it hits, then damn, I kind of feel like you feel like you wasted it, right? But you also maybe want to lock them into it being a 0. Like that's a strategy there as well.
Right. Because if it gets delayed out of the year and you counter pick it, I think you get a full 30 points, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it would be a great game to counter pick if you knew that it wasn't going to hit this year.
Right, exactly.
And the hype factor for this is shown at a 74.2. And that's probably gone down over the last 3 years because this is a highly requested game, but people just don't think it's going to come out ever.
It is.
So there we go. Hollow Knight Silksong for Shadow Art Entertainment. How do I draft that sheet? If I could figure out how to draft it.
And that's what I was going to ask in terms, where's the, there it is.
Just like that.
Something popped up for me. There it is.
All right, next to pick is the Midnight Gang publisher, owned by Gaming with Flash. You can go ahead and make your pick now.
So this is easy, really. So you just go here and then look. We don't have to dawdle. I effectively still have now the first pick because, I wasn't about to pick Hollow Knight. So
so you might have, if you're about to pick what I think you're about to pick, I think you might have the most fire The most chaotic pick of the night. We'll go with chaotic because
There are a couple of directions I could have went, and I'm gonna go for the guarantee, right? Because we're owners here, we're GMs. I'm gonna go for the guaranteed money bet. Right here, this is an easy one. Monster Hunter Wilds, because that game, all those games do banger numbers always. I don't play them, but those games do banger numbers. People play those games like crazy, and they always score really high. So that's an easy bag. And considering that it actually has a release date, no risk.
yeah, Monster Hunter
Small risk.
Worlds on Open Critic. Let's see. Scored. If it loads, scored a 90%. So that if you were to get anywhere close to that, that would. Oh, that's just the average. Oh no, that's right,
That's just the
90%.
average.
So yeah, that would be an easy 20
Equals
points for
do
you just
well.
off the board. 9.5 from IGN, 5 out of 5 from Game Rant, 5 out of 5 from Games Radar, and that was just the last one. And I think that wasn't even the best rated one in the series.
It wasn't. All the expansions do well. They rate really high. I think I just scored really high. So that's easy. That's easy. And I almost missed it. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What's this here?
That's insane.
That's okay. We almost fumbled we almost fumbled it.
That's a great pickup. All right, so we'll move on to the next capper. Dre Day. Dre Day Media is owned by Dre Day Media. He is also absent, but that's okay because we figured to be the kind and gracious gods that we are and allow him to have, let's see here.
I think we settled on Mafia.
Mafia Old Country is what we were going to go ahead and do. We figured that because if
Middle
it hits,
ground.
we figure most you could probably get out of that is going to be an 80.
In the 80s.
82, somewhere around there. And if it stinks, and I don't think they really stink that bad. I think Mafia 3,
not that bad.
The lowest one that scored, I think maybe was probably
I
around
feel
the
like
70s.
I think it scored in the 70s. I feel like one of those games fell into the 60s, but I could be wrong.
So we're not really leaving them dead in the water, but also right. You should have been here.
Yeah, it's a punishment. I mean, consolation.
Yeah, consolation.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so for Dre Day, we're gonna go ahead and give him Mafia Old Country with my horrible spelling. There we go. With a high factor of 55, so that's not too bad.
That's not terrible. It's all right.
Yeah, middle of the line. They kind of just go off SEO anyway, so it's still fairly new. Nobody's really looking into it.
Correct.
And for Bank Vault Interactive, the publishing company I own, I'm just gonna go ahead and get straight to it. I'm gonna take GTA 6. I want all the smoke.
I mean,
I don't have any qualms in dropping it if it gets too close and we're not seeing anything from it. But just to have this banger on my hands and it hits this year,
you got to.
I mean,
that's easy.
I mean,
at this point, especially we're drafting where you're drafting here, like easy. That's high, not even really high risk, right? So for the most part, it's not high risk. Hopefully, like they've given us a time frame, which they usually don't unless they know, right? So they've given us the time frame, which is fall, whatever, 2025, this year. And then as things get closer, we'll get a more solidified date, right? Hopefully. But I think, we're pretty. I mean, again, for your sake, though, I think we're pretty locked into the time frame of the end of this year.
Here's hoping, because from what I remember, Red Dead Redemption 2 got delayed by months, though. It was set to release, I think, in the summer, and then it didn't end up releasing until late October or something like that. And GTA 5 got delayed out of its year, but it was at the beginning of the next year, so it didn't get delayed too far out. However, that would make it ineligible under our draft rules. But like I said, I'm here for it. I'm willing to grab it, and I got 3 drops. If I need to, I'll get rid of
it. Nothing wrong with that. That's an easy call there.
So to snake around, I do get another turn because we're going into snake draft. So to select my next game, let me pull up my list here.
Oh yeah. Be very careful with this next one.
Right. Because you don't know, you know?
You don't know. You're not 100% sure. Do you take a guarantee? Do you take something that could hit with no date?
Right. I'm going to go ahead and risk it because we've seen it. We've seen gameplay for it. So I know that it
Mm-hmm.
exists.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-oh.
the publisher of this game never really makes sense. So in order to bet on Nintendo,
Uh-oh. He's swinging.
I'm
He's gonna swing.
I'm gonna
It's a big swing.
draft that Mario Kart that we saw in the Switch 2 reveal trailer.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna hope that it comes out this year.
Right? Because it's there. We saw something on that screen.
Right.
We
There
know it's
was
Mario
gameplay.
Kart. So will that be the system's launch title? Right? Could be.
You gotta hope so, right? I mean, you think
Would be a smart
Switch
move.
2 released with the Mario Kart, but that was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
A deluxe, correct.
So
to have this one released with a brand new Mario Kart, whatever they want to call it,
it's gonna
9,
do
whatever.
numbers if it releases and it's a Mario Kart 9. If it turns out to be a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe remaster,
I hope not.
Super NES edition, I don't know. That's what's gonna kill me.
Ugh.
But I'm gonna take it. I wonder if the game will even allow me to do that.
I think it will. I think that's eligible here. I believe that is under Untitled Next Mario Kart.
Okay.
Switch 2. I know because I have it on my list.
Oh, yep. Oh, there we go.
As a backup plan. It's a backup plan.
I'm glad I snagged that one then. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it. Untitled Next Mario Kart for Switch 2. For my second
That's a good pick, though. That's a good pick, though, because anything that even is remotely perhaps going to come out with that Switch 2 that's eligible to be picked here is a guaranteed banger. But it's just a matter of if it's going to come.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Here's hoping.
Fair enough.
All right. So next, we're going back up to Dre Day Media. Let's see what could we give him.
Yeah, this is gonna get interesting.
To still be fair. Let me see.
I don't know what his list is. He got a list.
So we have. Here's the thing. I want to give them something that comes with a great deal of a consequence because.
Sure.
There needs to be accountability. Hell, you know what I mean. There needs to be consequences for their actions. All right.
Or lack thereof.
So what I'm gonna suggest, and this is me really still being fair because I only have a list of bangers on here. I'm gonna suggest that we give Dre Wolverine, Insomniac's Wolverine for PS5. Everything we've seen from this game still to this day,
oh boy,
seems like this still might be a ways out.
Sure.
It's the beginning
However,
of the year.
This year,
we still have 10 months left. So there's still a possibility that they can finish polishing it and still put it out. I mean, it is Insomniac after all. Their release record is crazy. They get games out like nobody's business, especially if they're still using the same engine. So I could see it coming out this year, but I could also see it getting pushed to 2026.
Yeah. Could go either way, but if it hits this year, then that's a guaranteed.
It's a good one
banger.
For him.
It's a guaranteed banger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one, ain't it? Maybe not.
It is. I mean, you're not wrong at all. You're not wrong. It is. That's a guaranteed banger if it hits. Period.
We'll go ahead and give it to him, and then I'll stop being so lenient on the next ones because now it's already out there, ether, right?
Correct.
Marvel's Wolverine hype factor with a 9.8. That seems kind of low for what that would be.
Oh, it's low because there's no date, there's no range of this is coming this year.
Right.
Nothing. So like when it does get that hype factor will shoot up, but currently it's got to it's got some time to cook there before that happens.
It even has a couple interesting stats here. It says that the percent of people that have published this in Video Game Draft is 12.1%, and the percent that have counterpicked it is 50%.
Yeah, because
So that kind of that kind of goes to show you exactly what we're kind of basically the same thing that we just got done saying, is that it's not a sure shot at in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, now we are back to you, sir.
All right. So here's where I could go two different directions. I have two. These are easy. I got two gimmies. But the problem is, I got a guarantee. Do I play it safe, or do I take a little bit of a reach with something that don't have a date yet? I don't know. But there's a high risk, high reward on that scale of things. And knowing me being the GM that I am, I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to take the game that it's got a date, it's solidified, we know it's coming, right? Let me go ahead, stop playing around. Give me that Doom the Dark Ages. Okay. Cuz
Damn it. That was number 3 on my list. Man.
No messing around here.
What was the hype factor on that, just out of curiosity?
90.5 or something like that.
Oh man.
It's high. It's high. Hype factor on that's high. 90.5.
Oh yeah, 90.5. Percent published 97.9. Percent counterpick 2%. So that's in a great spot to release. I think they just showed that off in the last Xbox Developer Direct too, right?
Guess they did. Currently has a date of I think May 15th at the moment. So
yeah,
it don't miss. The first 2016 Doom was fire. Doom Eternal was fire again. This don't miss. It's Doom again with a little bit of a different setting, so people are going to be even more reason to be even more excited again, because it's not just the same type of setting again. They're changing the setting a little bit, increase that hype. That's a banger. This is easy, and then you got the Game Pass factor. This is this is a gimme.
Yeah, that was a great pick. No, seriously, id Software has done incredible with the Doom, with reimagining the Doom franchise. Like you said, Doom 2016, I think it was, and then Doom Eternal, all scored relatively high as well.
Even on OpenCrit, I think they're both over 90 or about 90 or over.
There you go. And on top of that, I mean, they've just done so good in cultivating an audience that is so here to support those games, mainly because of the fact that it's, you got the nostalgia factor for the people who played it initially. You got the head banging FPS head clickers that are in it for the sweat.
Yeah.
And you got the people who are just in there to have fun. And I mean, who doesn't like slaying demons on Mars? I mean, and now you throw a little bit of medieval flair into that.
That's right. Yeah, that new setting, and people love it. We're here for it.
Man, what a great pick. Okay, so then continuing from that banger, we are back at Shadowheart Entertainment, owned by Echo Dash. And for his second game, let's see what we got here.
Now he's got a back-to-back here, so
yes, he does. I see a suggestion in the TikTok chat that we're not going to be giving him because that's a banger. He doesn't deserve that one. But that is definitely on my list from Spike Cosmo. I see you. Let's see. So on my list that I'm willing to give up at least.
See, now you're not even sure.
Yeah, I know. It's just because we're down to the wire on all the good ones.
Of course.
Let's see. I'll do this. I'll give him Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, set to release in 2025. Which again, if that comes out, I mean, it's got very high potential. The only thing I can see working against it are the Kojima purists that feel like without Kojima, there shouldn't be a Metal Gear game released because he has nothing to do with this one. However, since we've seen the initial gameplay, we haven't seen anything else. There have been some reviews, and they still don't have a set date. It still just says 2025. So I'm reaching here. But just to keep it competitive and give people a chance, I'm gonna go ahead and give him Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Okay. I mean, look, I'm not mad at it. You can have it. Like I said, he should have been here, but
Right.
because he got 2 picks to get here, so
Out
I
of the
would say that's
kindness of my
fair.
heart.
I mean, it's gonna be. I had it on my list, so let's be fair. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's a game that's on a lot of people's lists.
Right.
Whether or not it has a, it obviously it doesn't have a definitive date, but yeah, that's definitely if it hits, that's Snake Eater is regarded by many. And
Yeah.
I know I've done this because I did a tier list during my last 24-hour stream for my greatest, top video games of all time. I put it on the list in as a caveat because I couldn't rank it because I haven't really played the game. I played like an hour of that game, okay? But I know Snake Eater is regarded for many as one of the greatest games of all time. So, yeah, if this hits as the remake, I'll play it when the remake comes, right? I told a couple of my peers, I was like, I know you love this. I'll play it when the remake comes out, but this for sure the remake is gonna hit
That's fair. So what you're saying is that we kind of did him a favor on the.
when it
Well.
hits. So yeah, we did him a favor. We did him a favor. We did him a favor.
Yeah, and not only because you're right, and not only is it regarded as one of the greatest games of all time in the Metal Gear franchise, which is heralded as one of the greatest franchises in gaming of all time. They
Yeah.
say, I hear constantly that it's the greatest Metal Gear Solid. So, I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's
It is.
really saying something as
Yeah.
where this game
Which
stands.
is correct. Like I have a history with it. I play a little bit of 1. I beat Metal Gear 2. I beat Metal Gear 4. I didn't really play much of 5. I didn't really play a lot of 3 because there's so much, happening at the time. But again, people love 3. They love it.
Yep, can't argue with the fans, man. Let's see.
No.
So we're gonna go now. Go ahead and give them something off your list because I'm really getting down to the bottom. If you got a couple throwaways, now that you're seeing that we're kind of the only 2 in contention here, so we're kind of just gonna be competing with each other. You can give them one of your throwaway games.
You know what? And again, this is me also trying to be fair, right?
We're too nice.
Clearly.
Somebody should have had Minecraft 2 on here. Somebody should have had Simpsons Hit and Run remake, something that we know is not gonna happen. But we're over here being nice, okay?
We are being nice. We're being super nice.
We should have gave somebody the next 2K.
Oh my god. I'm gonna give him. I would say something that I have on my list that I may or may not have picked, depending on how everybody else picked. Like, but I think if everybody had been here making their picks, I would have had to dig into the bag a little bit. So that being said, I would be comfortable giving him Fable.
Okay. Another risky one.
Again, risky, but if it hits, it's Fable. Like Fable's been, as a longtime gamer, but as a longtime Xbox gamer, especially, like Fable is. People talk about that for years. Like, oh, we get a new Fable, get that new Fable, new Fable, new Fable. Like now that we start to see, like, oh, they're working on it. There's some not gameplay, but right videos out there of a potential thing in the works. Like, okay, they're talking about it. It's coming.
Right.
So it might come this year.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from too. I had it on my list as well. I was a big fan of Fable 1, 2, and 3, the original ones. It's still got a massive cult following. It's got that dry British humor that, even us out here in the West can kind of hop onto. It's, I would assume, highly anticipated since we've seen 2 CGI trailers, I think, but still no gameplay. So then therein lies the risk. Is it coming out this year? Are we going to see anything of it that makes us more or less hyped? And even when it does hit, is it still, because humor in games is something that's really hard to get, and Fable, although it does still have a great foundation of action and RPG, a lot of it relied on that dry British humor that made it the cult classic in the first place. So, well, when it comes out, if it doesn't have that same kind of tone, is that going to hurt it review wise? Because you got to think, yes, we are drafting our most anticipated games, but at the same time, they have to score well. So,
yes,
that's the hardest thing about drafting these remakes or these spiritual successors, is that the people reviewing these games 9 times out of 10 were fans of the original series, so they're going to be a little bit more harsh. But I still see it doing good. But then it all comes back down to, is it going to come out this year anyway? So
yes,
Great choice. I'd say that's a great choice. Let's go ahead
I'd
and
say I'd say that's a great choice also. He should be very fortunate that
yeah.
we're being so generous.
I will go ahead and rank and give him Fable 2025. Let's look at the stats on this one real quick. 72.7% published, 45.2% counter pick. So I think a lot of people are about half of the people are kind of in our same mindset, thinking that it might not come
Right.
out this year. Because I don't think there's any thought that we think it's going to be a bad title, but will it
Right.
come out this year? Mainly is what we're looking at.
Correct. Correct.
All right, and then it's gonna go ahead back to you with the Midnight Gang and your third pick.
Back to me. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me get some now here quick. Okay, back to me. Well, I have wait, my fault. I was in the middle of
Oh, you're good.
sharing this stuff here with the folks. I realized I could have just, done that before. I'm selling you as a content creator. Um
Thank you, thank you.
yes. Hold on a second. And boom. Okay. Now, this is fairly easy at this point with what is here because I also have, however, now I'm left with the same dilemma that I've been having, which is take the sure thing that has a date or take take a slight risk on a guaranteed banger with no actual date. And I think it's probably we've reached a junction. I've got two solid ones. We've reached a junction where I could maybe step away from making the safe pick with all my picks. Even though the safe picks are bangers, with a guaranteed date, I think it's time for me to step out of that a little bit. And
Okay, a little bit of risk.
a little bit. We got to exercise a bit of risk here.
Right.
Okay.
Because
So
without it, there's
that
no fun.
be exactly. So that being said, let's go ahead. This is probably pretty easy for me. Hold on, let me make sure I'm in the right thing here. Yeah, this is it right here. And risk is a strong word. It's only a risk because it doesn't have a solidified date. But Ghost of Yote, let me go ahead and get that. Because yeah.
Good choice. Great choice.
That's easy. It's not those date, but we're pretty sure, like they've shown us stuff. We're pretty sure that's gonna come out at some point, probably later this year. Hell, I wouldn't put it past Sony to try to use this as a we're gonna fight the GTA, machine, right?
Oh,
This is a
really?
game that fights the GTA machine in terms
Oh,
of
wow.
like what is a great game, right? Because we know GTAs are great and they do what they do, but Sony always has this is what they do. They do single player game, blockbuster, AAA to the T, right?
Right.
And Ghost of Tsushima was a banger, right? Everybody loved it. They're looking for the sequel. Ghost of Yotei for sure is going to be just as much a banger. And the longer it takes to come out this year, the closer and closer it gets to being in the release window of GTA. But I don't think Sony cares about that because these games hit regardless. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can see that. I think everything you said was right. All the way up until I don't necessarily see this as I can't picture Sony wanting to put this into contention with Grand Theft Auto 6. I just think that they kind of know either through publishing partnerships that they might have with Rockstar, because you got to think since the PS4, Rockstar has been giving, all the promoting to Sony for Grand Theft Auto, so they might have a better handle on the date. And I do think this comes
Maybe.
out around GTA 6. Either way, it's in
Sure.
its benefit, right?
I would venture it's going to come out before GTA 6 if I had to guess.
I would think so. So you got that. You got the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, highly regarded critically and both with the players and critics. The only thing I
I
could
didn't even
see
check.
maybe working against this is the very minute voices of the, anti-woke mob because it has a female protagonist.
Yep.
But I don't see
Yep.
that doing much for its critical reception because at the end of the day,
No.
video game critics kind of don't ever really pay attention to that kind of stuff. At least the bigger ones that
No.
are actually recorded on OpenCritic. So I think you got a banger
Those
on your hands.
people.
I mean, people have been anticipating this game since, and Ghost of Tsushima came out in like 2020. So it's been a minute. People are
Yeah.
frothing at the
Admit
mouth
it.
for this game. So
Yeah. And those people can go in the corner and play somewhere because we don't care about them. But
Right.
like, yeah, first of all, this whole thing was set up for this game to have a female protagonist. So like,
right, but it's not gonna
there's
stop nobody. You gotta
come
think of
on,
the mindset
come
that
on,
these
bro,
people are coming from. They're still gonna be haters
get over
regardless.
yourself. So people forget that one of the greatest protagonists of all time has had the reins on a game and never let it go. We're talking about Samus, right? Like, come on, get over yourselves.
Right, right.
Let
And
it
then,
go.
and
Let it
yes, a
go.
game so influential that it has a genre named after it, starring a female protagonist, and people still just
What are we
cannot wrap
talking about?
their heads around that.
Right.
So,
Get over yourselves.
all right, great choice either way. So Dre Day Media is next. I'm gonna go ahead and give him the next 2K because I'm tired of being nice.
It'll do something. It might do okay. It does usually
26.
fine, I think.
You'd assume so, right? Oh, actually,
I mean, I
might I might just go ahead and give him PGA Tour 2K25.
to
Set to release
25.
next month.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That could hit though.
And yeah, right. Just because it's such a niche market, and I think there's been a minute since there's been one, right?
They took one off, right? They did 23, and it kind of did. I had Tiger on the cover, and it kind of did okay. And then EA jumped back in with the Masters one, which did really well, right?
Okay.
And they didn't make one to combat that.
Okay.
So I guess they wanted to take a little bit more time and let theirs cook, which is usually a good thing because they did that with the WWE franchise, right? Because WWE 2K, I think it was 23 or 22, no 21, one of those was god awful, and they skipped the year and they came back with WWE 2K23 and it was banger because they kind of scrapped everything and built it back up, and that was a great choice. I feel like they might be doing the same thing with PGA Tour because they didn't release a 2K24 PGA Tour. So they skipped the year. So the 2K25 might really hit. So just,
it's possible, right? I'm looking at PGA Tour 2K23 and it received a 77 on OpenCritic. And
that's not bad.
Right.
Not
That's
bad,
pretty
though.
middle of the road right there.
And I think the new one will be better than that.
Right.
If I had to guess,
a year off
I would say
and learning everything that they did from the last one, especially if you say it was a stinker. They probably took a year off to make sure that they had everything nailed down tight in this one. So you might be right, but if we're sticking on the theme of being fair, then I think that's just a good pick overall for him. Then,
I think that's fair too. I mean, considering it's, you got to be here, you got to
you
put up or shut up,
here.
right?
PGA Tour 2K25 yearly installment. This is 1.7% published. So
yeah, not surprised. No surprises there.
And then after we get done drafting all of our 5, we're going to go ahead and opt in for our counter picks. Since they're not here, we're not going to pick their counter picks for them. That's something that they can do on their own free time.
Let them do that themselves. Yeah. Right. Right.
All right. So that was for Dre. And now it's back down to me. And I'm just going to go ahead and stab Echo Dash in the back. Julius Caesar style. Yeah. And I'm going to
already know.
I'm going to draft
this was the game.
7.
That was the game I was thinking about picking when I picked Ghost of Yotai, because I'm like, that's the guarantee. It's got a date. We know it's coming. Should be here in a month.
These games never review bad. I can't remember a point in time in my life that I've seen a Civ review bad. Even
it had to be a long time ago, maybe. Like you know what? And bad is the word. Right? Bad is the word. I don't think they've ever reviewed bad.
Civilization 6 got an 89 on OpenCritic. This one has a lot more hype around it, I feel like. I think it's starting to slowly
Yeah.
creep into the mainstream and gain that bigger audience. I know it's always had a huge audience, but it's starting to seem a
Good.
little bit more public phasing. They had the whole
Yep.
big orchestra at the Game Awards. I think this game is building up a lot more hype. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yep.
take it, and I'm gonna
It's an
not
easy.
feel
That's an
bad
easy
about
pick. Nope. You shouldn't.
Should have been here. Let me see.
Should have been records. Because should have been.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda been. All right,
Mm-hmm.
1 second. All right,
Yeah,
Civilization.
that's an easy. That's an easy get. Civ 7 is going to be a banger. Civ 6 was highly regarded by everybody that played it and all the critics. That's just, and you say stab him in the back because everybody knows that Dash is a Civ gamer, so you already
Echo
know he's
Dash
gonna be
is,
on that
yeah.
Civ 7.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have a Civilization tattoo somewhere on him. That's how much he loves that game. So that's my twist of the knife for the day.
Fair. And you're like, why
just-
y'all give me Civ 7? I'm like, you wasn't here, dog.
Right. Should have been here. And then just to turn it back around, I'm next again in snaking order.
Curious.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw my risk in there. I'm gonna pick up Elden Ring Night Rain.
Ooh.
Obviously, with
There
the cultural juggernaut that Elden Ring became, it doesn't seem like much of a risk. People were constantly there are countless mods out there that help people play in co-op better. So I know people are people want the multiplayer aspect of it, but the thing is that can From Software do this the way it needs to be done? I mean, you got to think of what made Elden Ring and all the Dark Souls games what they are, and multiplayer is not part of that component. Yes, they've always had multiplayer. It's always been, you've always needed some kind of weird workaround to get it to work well, and people usually just use it for like streams or, you know, having their friend help them beat a boss. So I think there's probably going to be a lot of jank early on. But I think just with the cultural significance, I mean, the way people react around this game, it's gotta do enough, I would assume, as long as they get the mechanics right. But I believe in From Software as a developer too.
For sure.
They haven't had a stinker since maybe Dark Souls 2 may have been their lowest reviewed game in the last decade.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and snatch up Night Rain.
That's a good pick.
And
I get it. Wasn't on my list. That's a good pick.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. And that starts the fourth round. Going back up to Dre. And should we just draft him sports games for the rest of for his last two picks? Should we just fill his roster up with WWE 2K5 or Madden 25 and just give him a bunch of 70s?
Oh man, my goodness.
At least he plays them, right?
He does play them. Would Madden even score 70? There's no shot.
Let's check.
It shouldn't. There's no way. It shouldn't. I don't even remember.
What would that
It shouldn't. Because 25, let me see. 25 wouldn't even have sniffed it. That critic average is 69 on 25? Cap. Absolute copium. No shot. That was trash.
69, yeah, on the Madden 25. So, but the thing is should we give that to Dre since we just gave him PGA Tour 25, or should we save it for Echo? Because Echo's building out a pretty stable list up here.
He is.
In
for somebody who's not here.
Right.
He could have.
We're gonna give him the next Madden because now that I just relooked at this, we gave him Hollow Knight Silksong. We gave him Metal Gear Solid Delta, a remake of the best Metal Gear Solid game in the best franchise, one of the best franchises of gaming, and we gave him Fable, Return of a Cult Classic. So I think he's gonna have to get a sports game.
Yeah, he is for sure. That's a good call. That's a good catch.
All right, so what do we do about Dre then?
Spike Cosmos' new Pokemon Legends. The other day.
Go ahead, give it to him.
That probably would be
always
too good,
score pretty well though, right?
Usually, yeah, especially if it's a main line type.
Right.
I don't know if this one is.
I believe it. I think ZA is the next, like Red, Fire Red, and Emerald Green.
Okay.
I think it's Violet, Scarlet Violet. I think it's Z and A. So
yeah, give them that.
They're not getting one of those. I can tell you that. I think Pokemon is another one of those franchises that never reviews bad. I mean, rarely ever.
Not usually. Not usually. Not the mainline titles anyway.
Right.
Um
All right. Let's take a list. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to draft the next player game, and then I'm gonna type in 25, and we're gonna see
Kingdom
what
Come
pops up.
Deliverance is not bad.
We could give him. I wouldn't feel right giving him NASCAR 25.
Fair.
I
I
would
get
feel like
that.
a bad person.
I
Football
said I would
managers,
feel
I
like
think,
a
do
bad,
fairly well. What was that? I'm sorry.
I said you feel like a bad person. It's funny. Give him here's what I'm thinking. You know, Dre's lineup is looking pretty questionable. I don't have this. I mean, it's up here. I
Hmm.
don't know where I was gonna put this,
What are you thinking?
but this is a random call out. But oh, this would be good too. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I don't know if like that game is. It's like it's kind of middle of the road, right? The second one could score over 70s. Um, the first one was about that.
Right.
It wouldn't be a complete sell, but if it hits to do well, it will do well. That's a game franchise that could get up into the 80s for a sequel.
Yeah, I could definitely see it happening. It's a cult classic. It's on my list. It's higher up on my list than I've drafted, just because I got so caught up in a lot of better things. But I think
Right.
it's gonna. Let's see what the original one scored, because it did have a
Spike says he's gonna
one,
need the points. True.
but I think it was a more of a niche, because it's kind of like a simulator, a medieval simulator, and an RPG.
Yeah.
So it might not be played by a lot of people, but it might be one of those games where like the critics are love it. You know what I mean?
Correct. Correct. Dog the Bounty Hunter 2025.
That'd be
Spike Gosler.
crazy for somebody to receive a 30 on the draft would be insane.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
The last one reviewed at a 72, and that was the first one.
Did it really?
Yes.
What?
There's a little bit more of a fervor around this one, I think, just because it's supposed to be a little bit more accessible. But I don't see it reinventing the wheel that the first one created. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm
That's
fine with giving it to
crazy.
him. I
That's
think we can do
crazy. I love that because he'll look at it and go, "What the hell is this?" And be like, "Yo,
it.
man,
Right.
more good." You never know.
Right. And he might drop
That's
it or trade it for
hilarious.
like $1 or so. So
Hey, Mike, he could do that. He could do that.
all right, yeah, we'll do that. Let's give him Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Like I said, if it hits, it could do well, right? It
Mhm.
garnered a sequel for a reason. It's good enough to
Yeah.
get a sequel, right?
Right.
The first game wasn't terrible, you know, fledgling, kind of middle of the road. Players were a little bit higher on it than critics. That's no surprise with a lot of things.
Right, and which
Um,
makes a good cult classic. And then you got to think, with it having released so long ago, a lot of those people who are in the cult for it to be a classic are probably game reviewers now. Or usually these outlets will give these games to people who are already fans. It didn't usually always work like that. So
right.
say now the person reviewing it for IGN or GameSpot or Games Radar is a fan of the first one. They're already coming in with that, one, a little bit of nostalgia, and two, a little bit of grace period for it, because they want it to succeed because it garnered a sequel. You know what I mean?
That is correct. That is correct.
So we'll see, but either way, he's gonna get it, and hopefully he doesn't know what he has, and I can pick it up for like $1 or $2.
Back to your boy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Fourth pick for you.
This is so again. I always have two that is like guaranteed date, not a guaranteed date, but both could be, but both kind of in that banger realm.
Right.
Oh boy, I think here's what I'm thinking.
Dog the Bounty Hunter 20.
And I'm not even gonna say it's funny because Ghost of Yotai is not even really when it's coming out definitively, right? Okay, I'm back to playing it safe. I gotta play it safe. I need the I want the safe points.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, where's it at? Let me make sure my because I'm a safe GM, y'all. I don't mess around with the fire. We need
Good solid points here.
homegrown talent, right? That's
Right.
gonna give us good numbers. I'm gonna go ahead and go with that new. Hold on, where is it at? Is it right here? Yeah. Give me that like a dragon, right? Pirate
Oh,
Yakuza in Hawaii. Let me
okay.
get that because like a dragon hasn't really missed yet. And all the
Right.
games have been really, really good. Or no Ishii was a little bit like in the 80s. The original Yakuza Like a Dragon scored really well. Um, these games just generally don't miss. They've been very good with good reason. And again, as we were talking about before, with setting changes, and we were talking about Doom, this gets to keep the hype a little bit because you're taking it out of the Japan setting, out of that setting, and taking it into a new like Hawaii, like what? Pirates? Like what are we talking about? So
Right.
now that we've taken that same fun, amazing gameplay that people love, change the setting,
Throw in
keeps
a
the
little
hype
bit of
machine going.
innovation, new
Exactly.
combat mechanics. Because I think in the trailer we saw the the ship based combat, which people have been craving
Yes.
for ever since Black Flag. That in the industry keeps
Oh,
trying to
Assassin's
repeat.
Creed
You
4.
look at Skull and
Yeah.
Bones. You look at what was the other one? Sea of Thieves. I mean,
Yes. Sea of Thieves.
there's a hankering for pirates because you got to think these publishers are
Of
out
course.
here
Me too. I love
focus
pirates.
testing, and people are giving like pirate games keep coming out, so somebody wants them.
People want pirates. This is why One Piece is the longest running. People want pirates.
Right.
We like pirates.
And looking at Like a
This is
Dragon
why those
Infinite Wealth,
18 Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
right. Johnny Depp, we call him Jack Sparrow. We don't call him Johnny Depp anymore
Correct.
for a reason.
Correct.
And looking at Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, the last one that came out before this one, it scored a 90 on OpenCritic. So,
Bangers.
I mean, yeah,
Bangers.
those Yakuza games are rich blood, and tapping into it, giving the series to the villain as the main character. People always love that when you villain swap. Like you said,
Yep.
taking that age old, what's been working for them so far and throwing in innovation. I mean, the fan base for this is very positive, as you can see. So I think that's a good pick. I think that's a great pick.
Oh yeah. It's also the safe pick, right?
Yeah. Oh
Because
yeah. Well,
it's
safe
the
is good
safe
too.
pick.
That's why we're
It's the
here.
safe pick. Right.
Now we are back at Shadow Art Entertainment. I'm giving them WWE 2K25.
Bang. That's gonna be a banger though. So
You
slick
think?
don't
Oh
lie.
yeah, because now that
He's
Raw's back on
I'm
Netflix,
just
the
I'm
fan
just
base
letting
for
you
wrestling
know
is growing.
I'm just letting you know that
You're not
those
wrong.
games now since redone don't miss. If you look at Open Critic for W2K24,
Uh huh.
that shit did numbers.
Let's see.
Like those games are very good now. Again, he be
Oh
slick
yeah,
fleshing out his
2K20 WWE 2K24 got an 80 on OpenCritic. Oh, you're not, yeah, okay. Well, he's not getting that one. Never mind. Let's see.
so much so that I
Never
legit have that on my list. And
mind.
because I was like, oh, if I have to, I'll take it if I have to. Like that's like
All right, let's see then. What can we give him?
he's been getting some bangers, right? I
Right.
would say you know what? Here's my recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For a game that kind of you know what? I'm tired of giving him the actually, you know what, now that I say that, I was gonna give him a oh, this could hit, but like
What you thinking?
oh man. I have to
I'm,
pivot now what I was thinking
I'm
because
looking at Avowed.
I was thinking that too,
Avowed.
but
It's made by Obsidian, but I think we get enough from Obsidian to where the people who would have scored it highly just because they want another New Vegas are out of the water. Because you got to
yeah.
think we've had Open World, Outer Worlds 1. We're on our way to Outer Worlds 2. This is their
Hmm.
first recent attempt at a fantasy RPG,
Hmm.
and it doesn't seem like we've been hearing a lot of good news about it. We haven't been hearing a lot of bad news, and we don't
Yeah,
even know
true.
if it's for sure coming out this year.
This is
I think
true.
if it hits, we're looking at like an 80, 82, maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
Or we can give him, take Spike Cosmo's suggestion and give him Dog the Bounty Hunter Simulator 2025. Let's do this. If something funny pops up when I type in simulator, we'll give him that.
Oh boy.
Spray paint simulator. I'm
Oh
sorry,
boy.
Echo. I can't not give you spray paint simulator.
That's crazy. That sucks. Oh well. This is what happens. Gotta show up, people.
Oh no.
You have to be accounted
Why did
for.
it have to be on here? There was the chance wasn't zero for there not to be nothing stupid on here. Percent
Gotta
published
show up.
0.2%. Why is the percent counterpick 20%? Why are so many people publishing this game?
I don't know. I can say about the counter pick though, because duh.
Right. Is there something behind it? Is there something we don't know?
I have no idea. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Right.
It would be news to me.
We'll get, oh, my finger
Like,
slipped.
Oh God. Right, the finger slip.
Oh no.
Give him Crimson Desert, Black Desert sequel. You'd be happy with that.
But then he does get
This man got banged.
his last pick.
He does.
So
Yo,
where
what
are we
is
at with
this
that?
game?
Now we can come back to being nice, right?
Right, exactly. I ain't even heard about this. What the heck is this?
So far we've given Shadow Art Entertainment Hollow Knight Silksong, which high risk, high reward. If it comes out this year, this is another game with a ravenous fan base. When it hits, you're gonna know it. Metal
Right.
Gear Solid Delta remake of the greatest Metal Gear, or just one of the greatest games in general. Fable, the return of a cult classic, and Spray Paint Simulator, the next evolution of simulator games, maybe. So to end it off, I think I'll go back to my list here, just to be fair. But I'm not giving him anything with the female protagonist, because I don't want him to walk away today with the win.
Fair, which he's not gonna do because he ain't beating me. So that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna make sure I'm about to stamp that it's not gonna happen. In fact, now that you said that,
Right. I'd be willing.
That is a lineup. You're right, Spike. That's something. It's a lineup, all right.
It's not the worst lineup. He's got 3 bangers
No, it's
on
not.
there. And for
Dre's
him to
is
not be
arguably
here,
worse.
I would say I'd say he kind of he's walking away today, not a winner, but definitely not a loser.
That's true. That's true. Things could go south and he could be the big loser, but he could be the grand loser. This.
Yeah,
But we don't know that
He could
yet.
be grand mid.
True. Could be grand mid. Grand mid for sure.
I'm at a loss. You got any good ideas?
That's tough. I think. Oh man, because he's got some good games on there already.
Right.
Right? He has good games on there already. He's got a potential absolute what the hell did y'all do to me game on. Like I think the next or his last one here needs to be somewhere in the middle. And somewhere in the middle, right? Because this is the last pick for everybody, right?
You're
right. Oh man. Because we have to be careful of like not to give him something could be too good.
Right.
Right? At least in my opinion. I'm looking at something like Atomfall. Which could be, but
it's
we don't
probably
know.
Not getting over like an 82.
Maybe not, but it's not going to be a stinker, at least from what I can tell.
Do we have a release date for Atomfall?
I think it does have a release date, actually. If I'm not mistaken.
March 27th.
Yep.
I think that's
got a
fair.
date. Got a date.
Yeah.
So that's a guarantee it's coming out.
For sure. I think that's fair. I'd say it's given, BioShock vibes, and I believe it's from the people who made We Happy Few, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
which
so.
wasn't the
Sounds
highest
right.
scoring game. I think they stayed somewhere around the 70s. So
Oh, that's fine for him. That's
yeah,
fine.
I think that's pretty middle of the road.
That's
I think that's a
fine.
pretty fair pick. We'll go with that.
That's fine.
All right, let's see. For the 5th pick, for Shadow Art Entertainment, Echo Dash drafts Atomfall with a hype factor of
Yes.
31.6, 40.9% published, and 23.1% counterpicked.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair for that man. Based
Yep.
on what he already has, especially. I think the
All
chat
right.
would agree.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All
I
right.
think that's fair. Go ahead, and for your 5th and final game, the Midnight Gang,
The
Gaming with
Midnight
Flash
Gang.
selects.
Here's the thing. I decided on putting my stamp on this and just rounding this out and bringing this home. I was going to take a swing on something that's like, well, we got a date. We don't got a date. Not sure. It's going to be 2025. We don't know. You know what? Let's not swing. Let me establish dominance on this draft and just kind of bring this home. Okay. I am going to go ahead. Let me get it here. Let me make sure I got it queued up here. This is going to be semi easy, and another one that I slightly maybe almost looked over.
Okay. So we're playing it safe again, is what you're saying.
Split Fiction.
I wanted that one.
Split Fiction, my friends. The It Takes Two developer, which was an absolute banger, highly regarded by players, critics, etc. This has a date coming out in March. Lock this up. Lock this up. This has a chance to be one of the best games of this year. Period. Hard stop. So go ahead and lock that up. It will be in the conversation when we get towards the end of the year and start talking about the best games from this year. This will be in the I'm going to tell you this is going to be the best game this year, but it's going to be in the conversation. People are going to talk about it.
No, you 100% have a certified banger on your hand. I know that for a fact. Before It Takes Two, it was A Way Out. I know A Way Out
Yes,
scored pretty
yes.
good. I can look it up here on the Open Critic.
I believe it. I believe that one did. I think that scored well, and they took that foundation for A Way Out, and we're like, okay, how do we like kind of master this and go the way that we want this to go? And that's what you got with It Takes Two, right? A Way Out was them building the foundation for, okay, how do we want this to look long term? And then It Takes Two was like, oh, yo, this is heat. And here we are. Now we got another game coming.
Right.
So
you got A Way Out that scored 79 on Open Critic. Then the sequel, which won Game of the Year 2022.
I think it did. Yeah, It Takes Two. Yeah.
Won Game of the Year and scored an 88 on Open Critic. And this is the next game from that same studio. And
Correct.
It looks incredible. I think we saw it if you were watching the Game of the Year live stream with me. We saw it revealed there, and it shows it's the same split screen mechanic, so it's the same co-op. When you release, they give you the friend pass again, so that's literally double the people that are going to be playing this game.
Yeah, that's so smart. That's such a smart business design.
For him, and this is how good these games are. His publisher is EA, one of the greediest publishers on the face of the planet, and they allowed him to give out a friend pass. So every time you buy the game, somebody else gets it for free. That's how good these games are.
Because guess what? Aside from a couple of the Star Wars games, these are the best games currently under the EA branch. Are these games?
Yeah, saving them right now.
Because all the sports games are garbage, pretty much. So like these are the best games under the EA branch right now. Are these games by this developer?
Great pick.
So give them the reins.
That was a great pick. Okay, moving on down to Dre Day Media.
True Spike, you're right.
Yeah, excellent pick. Moving on down to Dre Day Media. I saw in the chat.
Tell me what you're feeling for him.
I don't know, right? Because
he's got some question marks on his list.
Right.
To say the least.
But question marks in the term of it, is it gonna, not even necessarily if it's gonna deliver, but like how mid is it gonna be? Because Mafia of the Old Country, realistically, I'm watching like a 79 to 82 range. Marvel's Wolverine, if it comes out this year.
Oh, if it comes out, that's a banger. That's in the 90s.
Right.
But
it's gonna be, one of those other Insomniac classics. PGA Tour 2K25, like you said, they took a year off. We might be getting the, when COD took a year off and came back, it was better received. when
Not bad.
I mean, that's just how when you take a little bit more time to put more care and love into these things, they
Yeah.
end up reviewing better. So maybe
Correct.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, The Return of a Cult Classic. So he's not doing that
Fair.
bad.
No, he's not.
I
Now
saw
that
in the
we
chat,
break it
Spike
down that way.
Cosmos said give him Crimson Desert. No, because I think that's going to review well.
There's a couple different directions you could go.
Okay,
right?
what are you thinking?
I think one of the things here caught my eye is one of those games and one of these game franchises that it could review well or it could review sort of actually, you know what? I take that back. It's not going to review question mark. This is just going to be a good game. Forget it. He's not getting it. Nobody's going to really get it, but I don't
What were you thinking over there?
Had he been here, somebody would have picked Assassin's Creed. Somebody would have had to pick Assassin's Creed at some point. So, because it generally doesn't miss, right? Because whether or not you play those games, I don't have as much time to play those anymore like I used to. But Assassin's Creed Shadows, for sure, against once we make all the anti-woke people go away, for sure, is gonna do well, right? Because that's a setting. Actually, you know what? He's definitely not getting that because now that I think about it, that's a setting that people have really been pining over from Assassin's Creed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That Asian theme setting, like that's a setting that people have really wanted in a mainline Assassin's Creed game. So we've got the Vikings and we've got Egypt and we've got this and over here and all the Greek and the Roman and this and that. Never got this setting, right? The Asian setting, the Japanese setting. Like if we get that's what we're getting with Shadows. That's just gonna do really well. Assassin's Creed games usually fall up in the 80s anyway. So
yeah, I'm looking at Valhalla right now and it scored as an 83 on OpenCritic. But here's my question is, do you not think that the industry is probably going through a little bit of Ubisoft fatigue at this point?
They are, but they still play this. I thought that before Valhalla came out, but yet people were playing it. I was like, okay, well, I guess people still play these games like crazy. So
you're right, and
I can't imagine that Shadows would be any different.
Right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is still too much of a risk to just give them a bomb like that.
Because that would really round out his whole game, right?
Right.
To give him that. Oh man, there's so many like this could be really good because everything's not gonna get picked. There's still some bangers here, but it's like
I'm willing to give him the Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. That's the game that had the Persona looking combat. Brand new IP, brand new studio. They've got a decent voice acting cast, but I mean that doesn't always save a game, So I could see it probably taking a little bit of a hit just because of its comparisons to Persona, and maybe just people that might not be vibing with the new IP. Maybe the narrative doesn't hit. I don't know. I could see that. I don't see it being a game changer. I haven't seen a lot of it, but
that's fair.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that.
So
I'm fine with that.
Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that then. Let's go ahead and give him Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And as we see more of that game come out, maybe hopefully he can still have the option to drop it or otherwise. Wait, why am I getting an error here?
It'll be on him at that point to make that decision.
Let's see. Why won't it give it to him?
Uh-oh.
You picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5. Okay. Draft for next player. Okay, there we go. All right, back in action. Moving on. All right, time for my
brings
last
it
game.
to you to round this out for the picks for their
Welcome. now that I have the floor and I'm the last one to pick, let's take a look back at everything we've accomplished so far. So far, stolen from my list, some of it given away.
Whoops.
GTA 6, I got that. Kingdom Come 2, we gave to Dre. Elden Ring, Night Rain, I scooped up. Ghost of Yotai was stolen from me.
That's a shame.
Metal Gear Solid Delta, we gave away. Hades 2 became ineligible, as we learned before we started the stream, because it's an early access. Civ 7, I stole. Avowed, Fable, Silk Song, Split Fiction. I have Death Stranding 2 on here, but here's my thing.
I saw that.
Is that after Death Stranding 1, where do we stand on that as a franchise? Are we willing to accept the sequel more openly and understand what Kojima's vision was, or are we going into it thinking that it's going to be more of the same, or that it's also going to be something weird and we don't really have the time for it? What did Death Stranding get?
Correct.
What did the first one get?
I'm pretty sure that rated high.
83.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned early access though, because one of my picks was ineligible that nobody else was going to pick, and that's Slay the Spire 2. That's going to be absolute gangbusters.
Yeah.
So just putting that out there.
You want to talk about a ravenous fan base?
I was for sure going to pick that. That was going to be an easy gimme.
Okay.
That's an easy 90.
That's Death Stranding 2. Wolverine I gave away. Mario Kart I grabbed. Mafia Old Country. So I'm stuck somewhere between the next Pokemon game.
Talk about it.
Which
you're stuck between a few things, to be fair, what you should be stuck between. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay. Listen. Because like I said, I gave away a lot of my list. Yeah. I think that's still probably one of the most viable options, though. Because as a GM, I have to think about the structure of my team.
Correct.
Grand Theft Auto 6 might possibly get delayed. I might have to drop it.
It could. You took a huge risk. See, that's why I didn't take
the Mario Kart. I believe in.
Oof. That's true. You got some risks in here. No, that's right. Look at your list. You got a couple of risks in here.
But we did see Mario Kart. So
fair.
Civ 7, I know is gonna do well. That's like my LeBron. That's like the LeBron on my team.
That's a given.
I know I'm just gonna pull him off the bench whenever I need him. We're gonna set some shit down real quick. He'll do what he needs to do, and then he'll go away till playoffs. Elden Ring, Night Rain. It's a risk.
Yeah, fair.
So I'm at the point in my career where I'm
stop taking risks.
I gotta start playing it a little bit safe, and not just playing it safe. I need people
play this fight as a cheat code, Spike. It is. I know.
I need to make sure that we make it at least to the playoffs. So
yeah, you gotta, for sure, because you gotta come try to contend for this title that is coming home with me.
Yeah,
but
and you got a banger of a list right now too.
Go ahead.
I think
I only have one swing, and it's the only game in here without a date. And if it gets one for this year, lock it up. Lock this list up.
Man, I'm in between. I think for the sake of the draft, I think I'm gonna take this opportunity to pick up the next Pokemon game.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's
just to play it safe. It was between that and South of Midnight.
South of Midnight.
South of Midnight looks good, but it's a new IP and there's room for error. Let's see, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, right? Oh no, that's the DLC. I was about to say that scored a 70 or 69.
Nah, yeah, the DLC. That's the DLC. Yeah. You want the main Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield.
Oh, they only got a 71.
Oops.
All right, let's check. Let's check Arceus.
I think Arceus did well.
Arceus got an 84.
Yeah.
And this is the same conversation that we keep coming back to, is that this was the first time in, I think, ever that Pokemon has taken a year off.
Yeah, I think it's been a while, because usually they have something in between the main. Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
You know.
I'm just going to do it.
I mean, listen, That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. It's not what I would do, but that's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. I, there are several more here that if this was several more games, I still got a couple to clear. That
Right,
would
and
be
we
like,
still do
'cause
have 5 slots after we get off here. You could pick up 5 more games if you wanted to.
is that how that works? Okay, because I didn't know
Yeah.
how the part 2 of this works.
So after today, after we draft our initial 5, like I was telling you, any game that you pick up, you will have to bid for though. So
Right.
if you're
Okay.
the initial bid on a game, and you put
Yeah, you might.
$15 on it out of maybe our 100, I got to relook at the list, but I'm gonna assume we have
Yeah.
like
I
100.
feel like it's 100. Right.
Someone throws in a second bid at
You
$20.
can't. You can't. You can't
You can't
go.
rebid.
Okay, 25. Like
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It's not like an auction. It's just a one-time bid.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it though is I do think that your initial bid is hidden. So if you put in 15 and somebody
Okay, I
does
like
it,
that.
they bid, they think that maybe you're just putting $7 on it, and they put in 10, they lose it. So there's still
Okay,
a bit
I
of
like that. I like
competition
that.
behind it. So that's why you
Yeah,
want to.
yeah.
That's why you wanted to grab your bangers today.
Correct. Of course. Gotta get those.
All right. So I'm gonna go
Spike.
ahead and
Yeah,
take
the
that
new one is
Pokemon.
new Pokemon is highly anticipated. That's true.
I wonder how that works because it'll be 2 different games. I wonder if they just average out both the scores or.
Hmm. I think that's what they do because if you look up like, yeah, I think that's what they do.
Hopefully, because I know there's usually
I don't
one
think
that
they
people like
split
more
it.
than the other.
Usually, but in terms of like how they rate they usually put them together. Right? So like even if you look at OpenCritic, if you try like Pokemon like X and Y are together
Right.
in there because it's the same game.
Right.
It's the same game, right? So
Yeah,
they
there's just
just
like a
they
different
just rank them
legendary or something in
as a
there.
package. Yeah, they just rate them as a package.
Okay, that's fine then. I'm fine with that. I think this is gonna be a banger. I think for something to make Pokemon take a year off,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about how much
Correct,
money
Spike.
Pokemon makes for these publishers. And if it was something
Hand over
that
fist.
they came up to them and they said,
Hand over
"Hey,
fist.
this is what we can do, but we need to take a year off." Oh, and this year is a new Switch too. So we're looking at a Pokemon that's probably
Either
going to be
way,
the
right.
best performing in the series.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just hyped
they would
myself
for
up.
sure hold that.
I
There
just
you
hyped
go.
myself
See,
up.
look at that. There you go.
We're back at it. All right, let's go ahead and run back down these lists one more time, and then we'll do our counter picks.
That should be interesting.
I say if we leave up out of here today with one counter pick apiece,
Yeah.
then we should be fine. Okay. Counter pick. Or we'll read through the list and then we'll do the counter picks. Shadow Art Entertainment,
Sure.
owned by Echo Dash, has drafted Hollow Knight Silksong, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, Fable, Spray Paint Simulator, and Atomfall.
Love how you pose that as a question. Spray paint simulator?
The Midnight Gang, owned by Gaming with Flash, has drafted Monster Hunter Wilds, Doom, The Dark Ages, Ghost of Yote, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Split Fiction. It's a solid list right there. It's a solid list. Dre Day Media, owned and operated by Dre Day Media, has drafted Mafia the Old Country, Marvel's Wolverine, PGA Tour 2K25, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Decent. Bank Vault Interactive,
Sure.
operated and owned by Watch Banks, has drafted Grand Theft Auto 6, Untitled Next Mario Kart, Switch 2, Sid Meier's Civ 7, Elden Ring Night Rain, and Pokemon Legends ZA. ZA. Solid list.
Solid list.
Beautiful.
Solid list.
As far as counter picks go, and this is how counter picks work. When we counter pick a game, the owner of that game cannot drop it.
Gotcha.
So there's a little bit of strategy behind this.
Sure.
Because, for instance, if I counter pick Spray Paint Simulator, and Echo Dash has to keep it until it either comes out or doesn't, and I think that's just a good counter pick for me and for him.
Sounds like a good one. Sounds like a good one. I mean,
because we also make points on the counter pick, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and grab me a nice little chunk of change right there with the Spray Paint Simulator, because that game either just doesn't come out, or I don't know how to do this here. It either just doesn't come out, or it just stinks. So
yeah, one or the other. Either way, that's a solid pick for that.
It won't let me. Oh, there we go. It wasn't popping up on my screen. Here we go. Spray Paint Simulator. Oh, no. Definitely not Spray Fiction.
No.
There we go. Spray Paint
2.5% counter pick. Yeah, no. You don't want that one.
All right, let's see. Dre Day Media. I don't know if we can skip these or not for them and allow them to do it later.
Right.
Should have been here. Okay, so we're gonna make Dre counter pick. Because here's the thing, I don't want to try and be fair and allow them to say counter pick GTA 6, because then I won't be able to drop it.
Yes, that's true. You will not be able to drop it.
So I'm going to let him counter pick Civ 7. Because I know that one's going to do good, and you should have been here.
Should have been here.
Now we're cheating.
Should have been here. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Now, who's going to be your counter pick?
That's a good question. I'm looking at. You know what?
What you thinking?
I'm looking at like, what might somebody want to drop? If they came in, looked at their thing, and it's like, nah, I'm gonna drop that. Now,
right, because
to get the correct,
strategically thinking, if you grab something that you know will stink, you get points, and they don't get points because they have to hold on to it.
Correct. And that's below 70, right?
Yes, anything below 70 up until I think like 30, so 70 to 40 points.
You know what?
Or you could pick something that you think might get delayed, which is a 0, which grants you the most 30 points. So you're looking at...
It's risky, right?
Yeah, you're looking at like Elden Ring Night Rain, something that might suck, but you just never know. Pokemon, you know.
Yeah, no shot.
just to play it safe, you know.
You know what? Risky. I'm gonna counterpick that Wolverine.
That's good, because again, we don't know if it's for sure gonna come out. It said 2025 since I think the first time we saw it in 2022, maybe.
Right.
Every gameplay we've seen seems like it's still pretty far away from being finished.
And if I'm him and I look at my list, yeah, sure, you look at Clair Obscur, you look at Kingdom Come, PGA Tour, you might want to drop that. But I think PGA Tour might do decent enough numbers. I think it'll clear 70, right? So if it clears 70 and I counterpick it, I'm not going to get no points for that, right?
Yeah, I think you even get minus points.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I'm not confident that it won't clear 70. I'm sure it'll clear 70.
All right.
I don't now. Will Wolverine clear 70? Of course it is. That's just gonna be in the 90s. But I don't think that's coming out this year.
Yes, but will Wolverine come out? Exactly.
I'm gonna go ahead and counterpick that, because Sony is already working on other things that they want out this year, namely Ghost of Yotei, right? They want that out this year, right? So they're pushing that developer to say, "Hell, go get that out." Like, and I don't think we got time for Wolverine this year. That's a next year thing. in my opinion.
I could see it, yeah. Give him a little bit more time to get into the later lifespan of the PS5.
Yeah.
Insomniac already does great work technically.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1, 2, and Miles Morales are some of the greatest running games. So
Right.
if
And I
you
think
just
they
give them
probably
more
got
time.
Spider-Man 2 DLC coming, I think. I'm not sure. They're working on that. I don't know. But
Nothing
if
that
they
I've
are,
heard, but yeah.
that might be more on the table of focus as opposed to the Wolverine game.
Right.
So
They already missed the hype of Deadpool versus Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. They already missed the hype of the
yeah.
Marvel Rivals coming out, reigniting that hype.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think at this point it's just kind of like, well, there's no good marketing time to release Wolverine. Either way, it's going to do numbers when it comes out, but like the best times to release it have already passed. So I think they're going to probably
Correct.
sit back and take their time on it, polish it, because again, every leak we've seen still does not look like a finished game. So
No, it doesn't. We're on the early stages. I wouldn't even call this pre-alpha
yeah, I
what's
think
happening
so.
with this point.
I'd say.
So
All right, so that's a counter pick for everybody except for Court or Echo Dash. What should we make him? Let's see. Where are we at with it?
that's tough. Because he would probably he might look at one of yours, or he might look at Dre's and be like, "Oh yeah," but like again, there's that risk that comes along with some of Dre's stuff that even clear obscure. Like I don't know, who knows with that. Yes, it's going to come out obviously, but what's that going to score?
Right.
Do you want to take the risk that it doesn't clear 70?
Right.
Like I don't know. That's tough.
Or do we have him counterpick PGA Tour 2K25? That way Drake can't drop it.
Can't drop it.
And
right?
like you said, if you're pretty confident it's at least gonna clear 70, that's a mark on him, right?
Yeah, it is. Because that would be something if I was Dre, and I know Dre might look at that and go, I'm gonna drop that. I think at least, but he knows the sports games, right? So he'd be like, nah, that's actually a good pick. Like, nah, I'm gonna keep that. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's tough to say, but
yeah, I think that's a fair counter pick then. Lock them both into it.
Yeah.
And that way, wherever it hits, two of the people that have been absent are at least getting punished. I mean, a consolation prize.
Consolation. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So that brings us to the final standings for our draft. Our very first annual video game fantasy draft for 2025. The lists go like this. Let's see. Oh, and we do get $100 budget.
$100. That's what I thought. That's what I kind of saw, but I wasn't 100% sure. I think that sounds right. It's fair.
All right, so Shadow Heart Entertainment, owned and operated by Echo Dash, has drafted Hollow Knight Silksong, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, Fable, Spray Paint Simulator, and Atomfall. Counterpicking PGA Tour 2K25. The Midnight Gang, owned and operated by Gaming with Flash, drafted Monster Hunter Wilds, Doom the Dark Ages, Ghost of Yote, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and Split Fiction, while counterpicking Marvel's Wolverine.
Love you.
Dre Day Media, owned and operated by Dre Day Media, has drafted Mafia the Old Country, Marvel's Wolverine, PGA Tour 2K25, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Clair Obscure Expedition 33, counterpicking Civ 7, which is crazy. I don't know why he would do that.
Man, I don't know. Well,
and Bank Vault Interactive, owned and operated by Watch Banks, has drafted Grand Theft Auto 6, Untitled Next Mario Kart on the Switch 2, Civ 7, Elden Ring Night Rain, and Pokemon Legends ZA. Counterpicking Spray Paint Simulator. Now again, if you guys want to stay up to date with everything that's going on during our draft, I'll put the Discord link down in the description of this video. That way you guys can stay up to date with when we draft, trade, or drop games. If you guys want to follow any of the 2 content creators here today, I'll go ahead and give them a second to plug their socials and their stream schedules. And since the talking caps don't talk, you can go ahead. Gaming with Flash, go ahead, plug your social media, whatever you want to do.
Easy, as I said at the top of things. Mainly, right, we're on Twitch, every day, every night, but we're the midnight gang. As it says there, is very true with the times that I stream. So it's gonna be late Eastern time, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., and we stream for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever the case may be. Twitch.tv/gaming with Flash X. But yeah, and some YouTube stuff as well. Same YouTube, whatever, at Gaming with Flash X. We got things going up there. I got shorts going out every day there, and TikTok actually. TikTok is also at Gaming with Flash X, right? Some of you are watching live here on TikTok, so go follow me over there. I got some fun shorts, some Rivals, some Marvel Snap stuff, and more other things to come as well. So, yep, that's it. That's all the things that are necessary. I mean,
sounds good, and definitely thank you for helping participate and showing up today. If you're watching this, obviously you already know where my channels are. Just make sure you follow me on TikTok or subscribe to me on YouTube. That way, when I start posting these streaming schedules, you guys can stay up to date. I'll post videos on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts about little updates that we make throughout the draft. And obviously, I release the This Week in Gaming every Sunday, and I release my reviews or previews for games that we think will do good. All that kind of gaming content. And let's see. Next weekend,
like when
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say when I win this, do I get like a virtual belt sent to me, via something? I'm just curious what happened.
Right.
Just
So
get a
if
little thing that
you
goes.
win, I think we can
Champion.
try to figure out some kind of trophy situation. Definitely for the first annual, we definitely got to have that. And even though everybody lives in like 3 different parts of the country, we are just gonna have to rack up the packaging fee every year whenever somebody else wins. Or if I just keep winning it every year, then it'll just stay behind me. Somewhere
Well,
back
you
here.
definitely won't win the first one, so that's for sure. But it's okay. You can.
We'll see what comes up for the rest of the year. But for today, especially, I think this is a great start to a great franchise. Thank you all at home watching for being a part of it. Another shout out to Gaming with Flash for showing up. Echo Dash, who was supposed to be here, and Dre Day Media, who are also supposed to be here. This is going to be fun. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to follow